We'll get to yen in just a bit. I want to get your take on what looks to be fairly disappointing GDP numbers. Are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm very surprised because we just had a precise capital spending data recently, and it just showed a positive increase compared to previous quarter. So I thought that there will be a positive adjustment in terms of GDP. So I really have to check where this deterioration come from. But July, September data, economy was not really doing well. Stagnant consumption, stagnant residential investment, and also there was a very sharp increase in imports. So that led to the deterioration of trade balance. So July, September data suggesting Japanese economy is not really in a recovery phase.
Yeah, so Sensei, we've got a little bit of breakdown now. External demand, contribution to GDP minus 0.1%, which is much less than the minus 0.7% that economists had been expecting. So I guess that looks like it's not so much improved, but gotten less bad. Domestic demand contribution to GDP minus 0.6%, when the market had been expecting minus 0.1%. So that's worse than the market was expecting. And I'm wondering whether that's going to put the BOJ, let's get to the end now, in a much tougher position. Because if domestic demand is still looking weak or is showing signs of getting even weaker, it's going to be harder for the BOJ to start normalizing, unless, of course, and this is the big if and the but, the missing link, unless wage growth is sustainably higher. And that's, I think, something that people have been betting on for a while now. If I'm not mistaken, I think for this year, average wage growth has come in at, 3.5%. And we know the Kishida administration is pushing employers, employer groups, unions, etc., to at least match, if not give pay raises in excess of that for 2024. How confident are you that is going to happen?
I think BOJ is facing a very significant dilemma because over these years, very clear, the household consumption remains so weak, mainly because of the stagnant wages and higher prices. You just mentioned that there was a spring wage negotiation between large company and labor unions, and it's true. This spring, the wage negotiation ended up at 3.6%. But that is just for the very large companies. So if we look at the actual wages, including small and medium enterprises, the current wages from April to September was just 1.4% average growth. And that is even lower than the same period last year. And if you look at the real wages, it's a negative 2.4%, and even worse than the last year's negative wage of 1.2%. So it's very clear wages very stagnant, and a lot of people do not anticipate the wages going up. And also because of high food prices, everybody is very complaining about higher living costs, and you see the real consumption remains stagnant and even haven't recovered the pre-COVID-19 pandemic period. So it's very clear there is no household strong activity, and then I don't really see a virtuous wage price, virtuous cycle. And Governor Kuroda saying there is a positive sign, but I don't really see that kind of positive development from the data so far.